Welcome to Trading Lounge and the commodities report, starting with the 30-year yields here. And I was looking at this as being the A wave here with an A and ABC for the B wave here, and then the C wave up here with 5 waves moving up here. So from the 30 years, we'll go to the 10-year yields, and it's a bit easier to count the 5 waves up here in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 going up. So we have found support over the last sort of few days, and considering that to be, for another move to the upside here on that. So that's sort of where we are at the moment. The other side to this, of course, is that we could put wave 4 in over here for this and have it as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave down here, and we continue to move up. We'll see the short end of the curve be stronger. I noticed that in Australia actually more so. Here we put up our rates yesterday as well to 4.1, and the other thing here for these yields, short year yields for the Aussie to go up here is that that the Australian dollar can have a low in place now and be starting an intermediate wave 3 to the upside. So that could be quite promising for the yield, so to speak. Rightio. So let's go to the dollar, the US dollar, the DXY here in this case. So we've got this move coming down, and we're looking at it as wave 1 with an A and a B and a C. Now I know a lot of folks would say that this would be better off as a 4 or 5 down here, but when we look at the lots of other markets, the dollar yen, and also the some EFTs on this as well. This low hasn't come into play, but it has here. So either way, what I'm looking at here is from this low here of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 to move to the upside. Once that top's in play, we'll just see if we start to get impulse waves down here, and if that's the case, then we'll know we'll have a top in. But if we see a corrective pattern, well, then we'll just need to go higher at that point. And to cut a long story short, all of this move up here would be wave A, and then wave B over here, and then wave C of 2 sitting over here for that. But there's such a strong case to have this wave 2 coming in here from 4 to 5 finishing off here, because it's there's other markets that are in reverse of this, like I mentioned, the Aussie dollar to a point, and the precious metals markets and those sorts of things as well. But let's go from 1 day to 2,000 ticks here and just investigate this situation here. So we've had we've got wave 1 down here, wave 2 here, and we're looking at 5 waves up here for wave 3. So wave 4 and wave 5. So we're looking for that top there. So as far as it stands so far, it's possible to look at this as an ABC pattern down into here as wave 4. But we know wave 4s can get a bit tricky, so we could even have this, playing out in a larger corrective pattern over here for this. And this is still simple as an A and a B and a C here. That still would be regarded as simple. So it's not over just yet, these. So we'll just give it we're just being patient. We'll just give it a bit of time, and but we could get. The importance of this here really is that this will affect. Well, at least gold directly, and of course the euro dollar and so on. So there's a case for having 5 waves up there and 3 waves back and pushing up, but it's just not strong enough just yet. So when we can confirm this wave 4 low in here, then we can buy gold. You may be able to buy it on some gold stocks and maybe even the GDX, and we'll be talking about that along the way. But as far as US spot gold goes, we will need to be a little bit more mindful. So we don't want to get trapped in this wave 4. They're traps, and we need to be very clear before we move on. But we do look at the other FX markets to, well, not so much to call trades, but just to sort of see if things are mirroring the same. And in this case here, we've got this wave 4. So in this case, there's a better possibility of having a wave 1 up here with a wave 2 to come back and so on. So we could probably confirm the wave 4 low in for the DXY and the dollar yen here when that top gets taken out, this top here. Then we could look at this as you know, as wave 1 to the upside and wave 2 here. But I can't. That would be confirmed, let's say, if that top was taken out, because that's already tested the supply here. So it doesn't need to, you know, do anything at that point. So it's possible that wave 4 low is in place and we're going up to wave 5. And it's probably the case, and it's probably the case if I come back to this market here, it's probably the case. It's just that it's just a bit of a flimsy situation at this stage. You know, it's just not quite strong enough. We just got to move past the guessing game into reality. And, you know, I can do these sorts of things, but they mean diddly squat until proven, you know, so they need to take out highs with all of this. So it's just a bit unsure. But even so, if this is correct here and this is moving up here now, that means gold will be moving down into its wave 5C of 2. Do you know what I mean? So it's not the time to buy gold at the moment, as such. You know, we're not ready just yet. Silver, maybe silver. There's a couple of markets that can do their own little thing now and again, and you know, most markets sort of turn together in one way or another, some accurately and some not so, and that's that. The euro dollar here, so this will be doing the opposite as well. We're looking for wave 4 on the upside here. I can put wave A, B, C up here for wave 4 and have that there. It's rather simple though for a wave 4, so I kind of think, well, do I have wave B over here for this? Is that what's happening here? And we've got wave C to go up here and then we come down. So this is the puzzle that I'm just, you know, that we've been sorting out for a long time really, because, you know, coming down here, you know, you know, we've been working this for a long time now. We're just trying to find some, you know, long-term trades, the turning point within all of the markets, and we're getting there. But yeah, we're in wave 4, and sometimes there's blind spots until we can see more price action. So I don't want to lead anybody astray at this point. There's, you know, it could, you know, continue down, or we could get something a bit more complicated. I mean, triangles and those sorts of things happen in wave 4s, you know, and double zigzags and triple zigzags and all sorts of weird shit. So let's just be a bit more patient, because I know that with corrections, if you are patient, you'll find the solution in the patience. But being a young blood and diving in, you know, getting into the guessing game will just get you crucified. So the Australian dollar is a little bit different. We can see that, I mean, this is what we're looking for with the euro dollar and the rest of it here. But in this case, we've been looking for wave 1 up here, the A, the B, and the C wave here. So there is a really good case for being, you know, having a low in place here now. And if I could just go back to maybe, I don't know, let's just zoom out somewhere to the weekly or something. I haven't been there for a while, but okay, so we can plonk that over to here. I've been there for a long time by the looks of it. So yeah, so this is what we're looking at here. We're looking at this for this market. This is the scope of things here, really. The A wave up here, WXY is probably the best fit. Anyway, wave B, and then we've got 5 waves up here. So we've got wave 1 here. We've been looking for wave 2. It's pulled in at the 65 level, which is a medium level, which is halfway between 50 and 80. That's the reason that it's there, and you'll see in history. I'm not going to worry about proving it to you, but yeah. So anyway, it's 65 is important, an unlikely character in the play, but so if that's the case, well, then we should see, you know, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5 up into the 50-60% retracement level up here. So yeah, So I've got some US dollars, so I'm going to dump those and turn them into something else at the moment. Once I can confirm this here. Now, I'm going to go back to where we were here for a moment. I don't even know where we were actually. Where were we on 100 ticks? I can't remember. Let's just see where we were. Must have been on 20 or something, God knows. Let's go to 1,000. No, I haven't been there for a while. Oh, we'll clean that up later. I think we might have even been on 20. Let me just have a look. Just clear this up here. Not there either. 5. Okay, that's cool. Sorry, I've just been busy lately. I haven't updated all the different time frames and things, you know. I've just been working on that website that's been going on forever. So let's just fix this up. Let's just join all the dots here for this. That's the one. So we should be about there. So now you might think, well, you know, we've missed this. Well, I don't think that's the case, because this little move here, this will be wave 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. So what this will do here, this will go up to wave 5 here, and then we're going to see some type of corrective move back as an ABC. Now it could come back 50-60%. Especially if the dollar shot up from that point. So if you can kind of imagine for a moment the US dollar, just get the Dixie here. Let's just say that, let's say that this was correct here, wave 4, this is 1 and 2, then 1 and 2, and there'll be wave 3 moving up here shortly. If this is correct, we don't know that yet, right? 3, 4, 5. So while this is going up as 3, 4, 5 here, do we have a 5? So as this is moving up here towards this one up here, actually these need to be different. They need to be, we don't need those. I'm labeling it wrong. Need that little dude there. We need the green man. So if this is going to push up strong here, then that's going to give the correction back for the Australian dollar. Okay, so while that's pushing up here, you don't want to be going long on the Aussie. Do you know what I mean? So that will push this back here. So how far can it be pushed back? Well, you know, it can come back to the 50-60% here. It can come lower as well. We just don't know. We just track the zigzag pattern here of the 5-3-5 structure, and then we can buy. But based on this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, this is an impulse wave, so we can buy back here. We'll be buying back here. This will be the time to I think there is a I'm just going to check just what I can do. There should be an AUD I just want to find this for myself too, actually, an ETF here that I haven't traded before, but there is one somewhere. I will look at that because that's the buying opportunity. Better to do that there. I mean, if you're trading futures contracts out of the CME or something like that, then you don't have to pay any financing costs. But if you're a CFD trader, you don't want to be holding for 6 weeks, you know, that kind of length, you know, paying margin there on that. It's just too much, because it gets recalculated every day at a higher price, so it's like compounding interest every day, you know. Anyway, that's that. Enough waffling. So put that over to here, but that's looking good, you know. So with gold, it's the same situation, you know, with that we're talking about with this here. So this is the US dollar here. If this is going to push up to here, then this is going to push down to here, you know, because we have to remember that the Dixie and the gold market turned on the same day, you know, way up when the US dollar had its all-time high. you know, last December, was it, somewhere? You know, they all turned on the same date, so they are turning on the same date. This particular, what we've been looking at here is one here with the A, the B, and the C wave down here. It's been a long haul, you know, and that's what wave 4s are. They're there to drive you a bit nutty, but as far as the crow flies, we don't really have a nice 5 waves up here, do we? I mean, it's much better counted as a 3-wave move here, but the question is, and this looks like an impulse wave down here, so 1 and 2, and 3, 4, 5 down here, down into 1900, you know, that's what I'm kind of thinking. I also understand wave 4s can get a bit complicated, so it could be something, you know, that we're an A and a B and a C and a D, something or other, but it looks quite impulsive here, so that's good news. I think that's the way to look at it. It's a bit short-sighted to put wave 5 here because it hasn't made a new low here. So there's a few things going on here, but I think we just stay the course, stay patient, don't push any, you know, don't get excited and push any buttons just yet. Like I said before, if everything goes to shit, then we'll look to be long on top of the 2000 at that point, and that's when you can buy, you know, gold stocks and all that sort of stuff as well at that point. But in the meantime, you know, we've been considering this a wave 4, and we got a wave 4, and now we've got an impulse wave down. It looks a little bit impulsive to the upside. Could probably push up a little bit higher. If it does push up higher, maybe it's a C wave here, you know, 4 wave 4, and then we go down. This is the same thing with, you know, with the Dixie and the euro dollar and the dollar yen and yada yada yada. So anyway, we're in a rock and a hard place. So we don't need to do anything just yet. So that's basically where we are at this point. So we will just leave that be. And this is GDX here. So it's not labeled too much, but basically the same thing, the A, the B, and the C wave down here. Now, we talked about this last week because we could actually count 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third, the fourth, and the fifth. I'm not that happy about the wave 4 here, really, because it's too small compared to this. But at the same time, any sort of move above this high here, and then we would need to be looking to be long at that point. We also counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here. So we could probably look at this as wave 1, and ABC here for wave 2 perhaps, or a more complicated wave 4. So this wave 4 we got over here could be a bit more complicated. So we're still, you know, I mean, it's just normal to get a bounce off a large number here. It doesn't mean it's the low. It possibly could be because we can count 5 waves up here a little bit. But we're just being mindful. We'll buy, you know, when we get a clear signal or we get the US dollar top in, and then we can look at this here. So there's still a chance that we've got some fluffing around and down here to move. At the point that I would be wrong, this is the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, and this would be, if you know the trading levels, then you know that group 1 is important. So 1, 2, and 3, the top of group 1 here, if that became the support, then we'd need to be long at that point. There's no looking back at that stage. It'll be going up at that point. And yeah, like we looked at the Australian dollar with that wave 2 in place going up for wave 3, that's basically what we're looking at here. So over to silver. And with silver here too, we could actually squeeze a 5-wave move here, 1 and 2. And 3 and 4 and 5, but there's a bit of issues with overlap here on this one. Not a big deal here. I don't really have 5. It's more like an impulse wave down here. You know, we could look at that as an impulse wave, and then an A and a B and a C here. For, you know, we could view that as a little 1 and 2 in here. It's all a little bit iffy here as well. So, you know, I'm considering this being, I mean, this fits better as wave 1 here than an A and a B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's actually got a nice lower here, and it's got a scruffy wave 1 in here, so that's possible to go at this point. So we would look to go long with a classic trading levels pattern here. So basically the first high above the level, we'll just give that a shot of green, and that that means that it's this particular pattern here. So if it was this as the level, you would have the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level. That's the long point here. Then we can improve on that to here and down to here at that point. So that's what that means, and we're not there just yet, so we'll just give it a little bit of time. But silver does look a little bit more promising as a 5-wave move up, and GDX does the same as well. Not really seeing a nice ABC pattern here though. But it may be wrapped up in here, but it looks rather impulsive here. So we don't have to do anything just yet either. We can just chill on this. We had a little long trade in here. We got out at the 2400, so everything's pretty sweet here. We don't need to do anything just yet. I just want to make sure that, you know, we got the trend in place before we start riding off into the sunset. Okay, so we're over to base metals now, and this is China's iron ore here. And this is just the bigger picture here, where we've been looking at wave A here, then an A and a B and a C wave for primary wave B, and then we're looking for wave C down here. Now, if that's the case, then we'll look at this as wave 1 and 2, and then we'll have 3, 4, 5 coming down here somewhere at some point in the future, if that is indeed the case. The other way to look at this is up for 1 here, back for 2 here, up for 1 here, and back for 2 here. But it doesn't count very nicely as a ABC correction here. I would be wrong if we got support on the 800 here. If we get support on the 800, then with a classic trading levels pattern, which is also this 50-60%, then I'd be long from that point. But in the meantime, we've just been tracking some type of ABC pattern up here. This is a little bit, I need a bit of time to get in here, but we could actually have the top in there right there and then. But I'll need to spend, it's a little bit tricky, some little bits of trickiness in there that I've got to sort out. But if that is correct, then we'll start moving down here shortly. I will just go to the 100 tick chart to update us where we are within that space. But I have to say that, just come over here, this is the ABC pattern. So we had the first 5 waves here, so then we knew that we're going to get another 5 waves. The 5 waves is actually quite long, more like a 3rd wave, isn't it? You know, so that kind of is going through my little numbskull. This I don't like my little blue wave 1 here, but what I did is I just started from the bottom and just built the case to the upside, you know. But I could rebuild that because it just doesn't seem quite right. But if that is the case, then this, where we left off last time, was in here somewhere. So we now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we could possibly have that top in play. I don't really have 5 waves down here unless we make another low here at this point. So we're not there just yet with this. So this would be, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So, or is it? I'll have to use that little thing here as a wave. Anyway, I'll just wait and see. I don't want to split hairs just yet. But we haven't reached our target, so we could certainly, in its own way, you know, have another move up to there. But I'll just don't need to do anything just yet. So we'll see. Yeah, I'll have to restructure this particular structure here. It's just not, that wave 1's just not happening. Probably have to lift it. My first point would be to here, but then anyway, I got work to do on that. It doesn't really matter at this point. We're looking for it to move up, and we're talking about tops with it, so getting there. This is copper here. I won't go into the bigger picture. We're basically looking for a move back up into the box to the wave 4, 1 less degree for this blue wave 4 here. It does look like we want to push higher at this point. This is corrective, this move here, so that means we'll take out that top there. So this top should be taken out here. Doesn't mean that we need to go long at that point, but this seems impulsive. This seems to be corrective at this point. This is a bit of a mystery, this one. That's corrective, so we'll take that out. We're already taken that out. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that will still push up here. That's going to push up further. Where's that going to leave us? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 and 2. Looks like we're going to go up. We're going to hit 38 at this point. We're going to hit this number here. That's eight's always a profit-taking number. That's why that was hit. So yeah, looking a little bit more bullish than I expected it to, actually. Let's just have a little look at the bigger picture here for a moment. I mean, if this moves up here and overlaps this wave 1 here, then that's an issue at that point. But this is pretty clear as 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third, fourth. So all of this is a third wave here. It's nice and big, isn't it? You know what I mean? So even if this pulled back up 50%, I'm not that kind of fussed with it at this stage. It's not really giving me 5 waves down at this point. Or is it? Let me just go back here a little bit further. Yeah, see, from this point here, I've really got 1 and 2 and 3 here. I think I'm on the right track here. I just don't want to be shaken out of the tree just yet on this. So we'll put this over here and we'll give it a little bit more space, and I'll try to figure out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where I've gone wrong here. Well, I said A wave's got to go all the way up here. As 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the A, the B, and the C up here for this. It does mean, you know, that, you know, those stocks, let me just have a quick look here for a moment. I think we could be in the nickel here. Vale does nickel, doesn't it? So yeah, we could get a rally from there. What's BHP looking? What's this? The ADR. This is the ASX here. Okay, that's not going to be helpful. We'll come back to this. Yeah, so they're copper anyway. Yeah, so I'm not quite sure about that. Not to worry, I'll just leave it a bit. I don't want to be sort of moved on this. And nickel here. So yeah, you know the story here. We've just been looking at wave B here with 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and then 3, 4, and we haven't finished down here for wave 5 yet. We've got a nice 1 and 2 in green. And we've got this nice third wave down here. I suppose we could put, as I mentioned before, I might need to look at some other markets, but I think we got here as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. That's the difference, because all of this here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got to kind of figure out this a little bit. I think it's got to do with this here. I'm not that fussed about it actually at this point in time. Just not seeing a good wave 4 here at this stage. I mean, we could put this here, we could put this here, we could put this here, we could look at this as an ABC pattern here for this, sorry, this over to here, that to there, and look at it like this here with some sort of A wave and B wave. We could start, it doesn't really matter which way I look at it, we still need to move into a wave 4 now. It's just which one it is at the moment, but it'll be something like this. It's not a big deal, nothing to do here. It can rally back, but it still needs to make a new low. We still need to take out this low here, or at least get close to it, you know. I mean, wave 1 wasn't that long. Oh, it's quite long really when you think about it, wasn't it? It's kind of got a bit of length to it at that point, so that would bring us over here, that would bring us down here. So yeah, down to 16 here for nickel, but nothing really to do there. The only thing on the nickel front is that we've been looking at IGO here, which is an Australian stock. So with this thing, we've got the possibility of being wave 1 with an A and a B and a C for wave 2 here. Everything seems to look quite good. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the last little move here. It hasn't pulled back to its 50, 60% yet. Not that it has to. We could also put this wave 2 in over here as well for that. And in fact, we were looking at that. So we still need to do more work on all of that, this little area, but we're going to go in and have a look at this because we have been looking at, that would be the wave 1 up here on this 5-minute chart, an A and a B and a C for wave 2. So I just want to have a look at this. So this wave 2 can go into here. That it's possible. It still doesn't give us what I'm looking for at the moment, which is a nice solid impulse wave to the upside. Obviously, we could look at that as wave 1 here, and this would be wave 2. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. So it's just the third wave. So this could actually be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. So I would still need to see more here for this as well. So I'll still need to see wave 5 here, then an A and a B and a C wave. And then if it was going to go up, that B wave here would be the entry over here for that. So we're still just waiting for it to fall into place and yada yada yada. So it's not there just yet. Okay, I should have had a look at lithium while I'm there as well. I sometimes miss that. Lithium stocks. We want to have a look at these two big Chinese dudes here. Which they own a lot of, whoever owns the energy or whoever owns the dollar, and now these days whoever owns the commodities rules the world. So nobody owns the commodities, so China's having that play. Don't worry about that. Website's just there to remind. It's just something sort of interesting going on in the lithium space, but not to worry about that. So basically here, we were looking at this particular move here, which is in 3 waves. So that tells me that we should be making more downside here. These moves to, there's a bit of movement there to the 65. It's got increasing volume to the upside and decreasing volume here. So we probably see a bit more of a push up here. But because that's corrective here, we should see that low get taken out. I'll just have a look at its partner over here, and we could look at that as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. That's possible. But anyway, yeah, still once again, it's a bit corrective based on this one here. So we can expect some upside by the looks of it in the short term, which will make. I'm just going to have a look at Piedmont here. So. Okay, so we were looking at this in a couple of different ways. We were looking at this little area here. It started off as being bullish, and then I thought, oh no, it looks corrective. But if it was corrective, it needs to take that low out here. So it didn't take that low out here. So it maintained its bullish presence in terms of 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2 here, which is kind of a bit of a rarity. But it has pushed up. So the possibility of this being in place is, it's not a fantastic situation, the A, the B, and the C here. I know that it's corrective, and I know in the future it will take that top out here. So, excuse me, I do own some of this, but, such a small amount, it's, as I mentioned before, it's not worth bragging about. And even if it came down here, I would still hold it, because I know that we're in a big corrective pattern here. So, but yeah, we'll just see how that goes, but looking quite positive. So we could look at this here as 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 here, and, building to the upside. But I could also see the corrective side of it as well, looking at this here as an A wave here with an A, B, C wave here for this, and then down for 1 and 2, and, coming down here. That was also possible as well. So just looking at both sides, yeah, so, I've got this to build a, to build a larger position on, because I see it above, going from $50 over to, 100. That's okay for me in a market that's, in an environment in today's world, which is a little bit unsure. Let's just run through some of these. We haven't seen them for a while. Pilbara Minerals here, we're looking at this as an ABC, but I was a little bit daunted because at some point along the line, it appeared that we have 5 waves down here, but that 5 waves down here, I must say that between this little high here, just in here, and this other little high, the low here, we've got an overlap in here. So to look at that as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's a problem with that. So it could remain bullish. We'll just keep a bit of an eye on it. You know, you'd expect it to hit 5 and come back, you know, so it's done that. Hasn't really overlapped anything down here as such, so that's all good. Liontown is just doing its own thing. We know that, you know, even when it shot up here, we knew that it would sort of eventually push to the $3 and have a dance here. It's going to be here for months, you know, in series of wave 4s, but then we'll push higher. So it's okay to hold. What about a couple of these little ones here? That needs to confirm itself by taking out the high. This one here, AKE here. This is taken over by Lithium here. So I don't know if it's still trading, is it? 7th of June, yeah, still trading. So it's, you know, it's bullish. You know, you can go with that. Lithium here that we brought in. So live event here bought this AKE out here. That's why I put it here, I think. Well, this is looking quite good here, really. The closest largest number is 25. I mean, obviously, if it was going to fail, this is where it would fail here. The question we need to ask ourselves, is the 25 support at this point? And no, it's not. So we could call this the arrival, the reaction, and the first high above the level. So that first high above the level would give us our first setup point in all of this, you know, if it was going to move higher in that case, you know. So we just need to be a bit patient here and wait for that first high. It'll probably be a bit higher than what I've, oops, daisy. We'll get rid of that. Anyway, we're just waiting for that first high here, okay, because it will, when it makes it high, it will come back and check it. So you're not missing anything. You just need to understand that. Little Leo here. So, yeah, it'll give us a bit of a classic trading levels pattern here as well at the 80 here, and then push to $100 rather. But yeah, nothing new there. What about SQM? How's that going? Because it was bobbing along the bottom. I think this has got a bit more downside to go here just yet, because you'd have to look at this as 1, 2, 3. I could probably got that 3 there, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you got all of this. It just doesn't seem finished here yet, you know. It looks like it's got some more to go in there. Yeah, anyway, not ready to do anything just there. So I'll just leave those and we'll go over to crude oil. So with crude here, it's possible to count this. I looked at it before. We had it counted up as the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave up here. But I had another look at it, and it's possible to get 5 waves out of it. The reason I want to get 5 waves out of it, because we're looking at it in a couple of different ways. We can look at it as wave 1 here with the WXY over here for wave 2 sitting here, and then look at it as wave 1 up here. If that's 5 waves up there, we could look at it as a C wave as well. But I'm thinking that even though we don't know the bigger picture is a little bit opaque. So what we can do, don't like that spike there either, actually, because it would create this top here. But I'm not even worried about that now. So if this here is corrective here, then that's going to push up higher. I'm just going to get rid of that. Sorry for that. If that is a wave 4 of some description there, then that's going to push up here. And then all we need to do is use the top of group 1, the $73 mark here, like we did here. So that would be the, I wouldn't do it on a spike like that, but in a nutshell, that's the high. That's the second high where we can go long from. But we never pushed up to get triggered in at that point. That's okay too. So now we need to rinse and repeat and do it over here. I don't particularly want to go long where it is right now because I don't have an impulse wave here. This could be, this could be counted as a corrective wave. It looks like 1 and 2 in here and then a 1 and 2 here. I suppose I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here for third, fourth, fifth. So we'll see what it looks like in due course. If you went long here, you have to leave the stop down here, and that's kind of a lot of money to lose, on this. So I wouldn't do it just yet. We need to get it nice and tight in here, and we want the market to prove to us, we want some corrective pattern that we can work to that's a little bit closer with all of this, so that's what we're looking for over here. Will we get it? I don't know. When I see spikes like that, quite often that's the high here in a lot of cases, which would leave this as a nice ABC at that point too. But yeah, so I just want to be a bit careful about this. So I don't really have much to say at this point with crude oil. We'll just wait. And over to natural gas. So we were looking at natural gas being a possible from wave 3 just tucked in here as a possible A, B and C wave up here. It would be confirmed as a corrective wave if this low was breached here. Because as it stands, we could look at this as wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, but it's come quite close to the bottom here, so we need to be a little bit careful about it. We have been having a look at the bigger picture and so on, and then we looked at, well, can this be counted down here in 5 waves coming down here? So that's basically what we've been doing here, and then another 5 in here. And then we were looking for an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave coming back up into this space here. And then moving down at that point. That's kind of what we're looking at. We may need a change in plan depending on what we get in the future. Things change, they don't remain the same in this business. So so with this here, we were looking I missed yesterday because I was working on the stock portfolio, but we weren't missing much in a way. So we were looking at a wave. We're looking for wave A to come up here. So we got that. Then we've had the wave B here, and now we're looking for the wave C. So the wave C here, we could probably put this here as 1 and 2 here, and then we could look up at wave 3 here. Now, like I said, it could be a bullish picture that we're looking at in the bigger picture. We just still need to do more work here. This looks like a nice ABC pattern here for this. So once again, we can look at well, a couple of important things here. This is corrective, isn't it? And it's corrective, and it's confirmed corrective because it's taken out the top here. So it confirms this as an ABC pattern. So that being the case, technically it should take out that top. Right, because this is confirmed as a 3-wave move by that taking that out. So that means we should take that out. This here appears to be a nice ABC correction here. And that's confirmed as a corrective move with that top taken out. So with that top taken out, we should take that top out, and then we'll take that top out. So we should end up taking that top out up here. So that means that this falls into the place of having a trade here for this, on the long side. So with that said, let's look at that situation. So, it's off session. Is that a little 5 waves in here? We'll go from 100 ticks just down into 10 ticks and just look at that move there for a moment. Kind of looks like this is 1, 2, 3 here. I mean, I could go 1, 2 here, but probably 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 up here for this. Doesn't count very well here in the off session. That's nice. Here is 5 waves for the C wave, the A wave, the A, the B, and the C here for that. We're on group 1 here as well, the 23 here, that's good. Be nice if that just drops here a bit. If that was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here in some regard or another, that means we should have some sort of ABC pattern coming back 50, 60%, and then moving up there. It would be just nice if that drops here, because then we can use that top there to go long on. Or what we could do, we could just refine it a bit further and say to ourselves, okay, that's the 23 here. The next level up is 10, 20, and 30. So obviously the 30 here makes good betting. But if you see, because there's either two things that's going to happen here. It's either going to find support on 23.10 or it's going to pull back into the 50-60% here. To there. So it's either going to do that or pull back into, well, this space. It can go back to the 22.90 at that space, at that area. Looking at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, just doesn't look like, I mean, it looks like 5 waves to here, really. Maybe it's just going to keep building as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. I would say that 23.10 as a tested support would be a long trade. And then you can add on the 20 and then on the 30 here. And then if it does come back into this space here, then we'd just use the 23 here for the classic trading levels pattern to the upside again at that point. You know, looking for that first high above the level, then this one here, and then that will take you up there. That would be a safe way to go to the upside. So I'll just clean that up there, and we'll just go back to 100 ticks. So what I will do here is just, so we've talked about it, the stop would have to go here. So we can just turn that red if you were looking for a trade, and copy that, and I'll just shove it up there on top of the wave one, and I'll probably forget what I've said here about all the rest of it, but that would be the long trade at that point there too, you know, but you can improve on that with some small positions building in on 10, 20 and 30 in here. So I'll leave it at that. Yeah. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.